Ah, my friends, come closer to the fire. Yes, closer still. Feel the warmth upon your skin. For tonight's story is heavy. Heavier than gold, heavier than pride, heavier than regret. You remember our friend Kweku, the hunter? The one who saved the leopard? The one who was blessed with gold and fortune by the spirit of the forest? Yes, that same Kweku, whose kindness was once the pride of the village. When we last left him, he had called upon the spirit a second time. He had asked not for peace, but for greatness, and the spirit, though sorrowful, had given him what he desired. Gold flowed like rivers through his hut. His name was sung in every corner of the land. But, my friends, as the old ones say, too much honey makes the tongue sick. At first, Kweku's laughter filled the air. Women sang praises as they fetched water. Children danced before his house, and men came to seek his favor. He built a grand compound, walls of red clay, roofs thatched with the finest grass. He filled his storehouses with yams, cassava, and millet, and every day he wore robes woven with golden thread. He began to walk differently, chest high, chin lifted, as though the sky itself was too low for him. The villagers bowed when he passed. They called him Kweku the Blessed, and oh, how he loved that name. He smiled when they said it, but his heart, his heart grew proud and hungry. Soon he began to boast. I, Kweku, he said, am chosen by the spirits. The forest itself bows to me. Even the leopard fears my name. But the forest, my friends, does not forget. The spirits do not take lightly to boasting. And the wind, oh, the wind carries every word. One evening, as the sun bled into the horizon, Kweku walked alone into the forest. He sought to hunt, for it had been many moons since he last tested his bow. But as he walked, he noticed something strange. No birds sang, no monkeys chattered. Even the insects had fallen silent. The forest that once embraced him now felt cold, distant. The air was thick, heavy, like the moment before a storm. He called out, Spirit of the leopard, your friend comes again. No answer, only the rustling of leaves and the faint growl of thunder far, far away. That night, Kweku dreamed. In his dream, the spirit came to him, not as a man, not as a beast, but as a shadow of both. Its form flickered like smoke, its eyes burned like two suns. Kweku, it said, you have let your pride blind you. The gift I gave was to honor mercy, not to feed greed. Your gold has grown heavy upon the earth, so heavy, the forest groans beneath it. Kweku trembled. Spirit, he said, do not take it away. Without my gold, I am nothing. The spirit's voice was calm, yet full of sorrow. Then you have already lost what made you great. The wind howled. The fire in the dream burst into sparks, and Kweku awoke with sweat upon his brow. He told himself it was just a dream. But deep down he knew. The forest had spoken. Days later, Kweku decided to hold a grand feast. He invited the whole village. Drums echoed through the night. Calabashes overflowed with palm wine, and laughter filled the air like a river after the rains. At the height of the celebration, Kweku stood before the crowd. He raised his cup and declared, I, Kweku the Blessed, have conquered the spirits themselves. Who among you can match my favor? Who among you can summon a leopard and live? The crowd roared with drunken cheer, but among them, the old woman Abena, the village seer, shook her head and whispered, Pride dances before the fall. That night, as the people returned to their homes, thunder cracked like angry drums. A storm rolled over the forest. Thunder cracked like angry drums. The earth shivered beneath the downpour, and through the wind came a growl, deep, long, sorrowful. Those who heard it said it was no beast of flesh and bone, but the voice of the spirit calling back what it had given. When morning came, Kweku awoke to a terrible sight. The baskets of grain were empty. His yams had rotted overnight, and his compound walls were cracked and dry. The gold, his precious gold, had turned to dust. Panic filled his heart. He ran to the forest once more, calling out, "Spirit, Spirit, forgive me. I have lost everything." But the forest was silent. He fell to his knees. He cried, tears mixing with the dirt. "I meant no harm. I only wished to be remembered." From the shadows, 2 golden eyes appeared. The leopard spirit stepped forth, its fur shining with firelight, though no sun touched it. "Kweku," it said softly, "you will be remembered." But not as you wished. Before Kweku could speak again, the spirit leapt a flash of gold, a cry of pain, and then silence. When the villagers came searching, they found only claw marks and footprints where Kweku once stood seasons past. The rains came and went, and in the deep forest, hunters began to speak of a golden leopard, a creature that watched from the shadows but never attacked. Its eyes, they said, looked almost human, and when it growled, it sounded like the sigh of a man. Some whispered that it was Kweku transformed by the spirit doomed to wander the forest he had once loved. Others said it was the spirit himself, guarding the place where pride had fallen. But one thing was certain. Wherever that leopard walked, the trees bent low and the wind whispered a warning. Remember the promise of the forest. Kindness is gold. But pride is poison. So, my friends, what do we learn from this tale? Kweku's story is not just his own. It is a mirror for all who walk with hearts that forget gratitude. The spirits of the earth give freely, but they take swiftly when men grow proud. In every village, in every home, there is a moment when the heart is tested, when a blessing becomes a burden, when love turns to pride. And if you ever find yourself walking through the forest at night, and you hear a soft growl in the distance, do not be afraid. Bow your head. Whisper your thanks. For perhaps the spirit listens still, waiting to see if mankind has learned its lesson. The fire burns low now. Its flames are small, but its warmth still reaches us. Let us remember Kweku, not for his pride, not for his gold, but for the mercy that began his story and the promise that ended it.